Jai Hind everyone, welcome again to the Patriotic IAS. This is our IAS PCSwala Daily Current Affairs. We have around 9 topics that we will discuss one by one. The first topic that we are going to discuss is the India protests Chinese road construction. So here it is into the Saksagam. You will locate that where is the Saksagam and how it has been gone to the Chinese. So it will be for the mains perspective and location of the Saksagam will be for the prelims perspective. Then we will study law and order, the state subject. Here we will see that the recent tussle that is going on between the different central agencies such as the CBI and ED and the state government and its security agency. So here you will see that it is for the GS paper 2 polity section where we talk about the center-state relationship. A very good example. So again for the mains. Then we will study the removing the toxic exotic plant. Exotic plant means that plant that has not been the part of that native place and coming out of that. So it will be part of the environment GS paper 3 again for the prelims as well as for the mains. Then we will study the judiciary shadow over the standard essential patent. So here we will see that what is this standard essential patent, such as the common thing that technology have to followed by the most of the companies. For example, take your C-pin charger. So most of the companies, mobile companies, they follow that. So here the study will be for the telecom manufacturing sector and how the Indian manufacturing companies are at the disadvantageous position due to this standard essential patent and the misuse of that. Then we will study the tripping point. It is for the this GST that has been, the collection of the GST of the April month is the highest. So we will see that what are the chances it provides for the government. So it will be for the men's perspective. Recognize this leave as the women's right. Here we will talk about the need for the menstrual leave and how it can impact overall gender gender equality and inequality. So it will be for the men's. Then we will study the does PMJY need a redesign change. So here we will talk about the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, that is the for the providing the 5 lakh of the rupees for the per family per year for the secondary and tertiary disease. So here you will study it for the mains perspective, mainly into the GS paper 2 health sector. Then we will study why are the Indian spices facing the heat. So here we will see that the many of the countries such as the Hong Kong, the part of the China, Hong Kong, that is there is the dispute, okay, and other companies, countries such as the Maldives, Australia, all they have question and investigating the different continent. For example, for this case we are going for this oxide, ethylene oxide, ETO, and that is being questioned. So it will be part of the science and technology that the chemical, how this chemical is used. Okay, so again, it is going to impact the India's trade as well. So it will be part of economy external sector, but mainly science and technology, because here it is talking about the different substances that is talking. Besides that, it could be the part of GS paper 2, the regulatory authorities such as the FSI, food security, food standard and food safety and standard authority of the India, they have not able to test on a proper manner, and that's why into the foreign countries we are going with our product, and there if we will have the question on our standard quality of the food products, so it will impact the overall export. So it is questioning the efficiency and efficacy of our investigating and the regulatory authority. Okay, so here it will be for the GS paper 2, GS paper 3, GS paper, different GS paper and the different topics, science and technology, governance, and also the economy. So it will be for the mains analysis, and the substance that has been there, that will be used for the prelims. Then we will see that the April PMI, Purchasing Manager Indices, this signals the second best gain, and it shows that the yes manufacturing sector is going in the positive direction. So here it will be important to know about the basics of the PMI that will help into the prelims examination. So let's start with the front page. The front page, the first news is the Prajwal blog booked for the rape, look out circular issue. So here it is the case, the political and the criminal case, criminal area that we are not going to cover because it is political in nature. So here you will see that the one of the members from the BJP and not the BJP, the JDU Secular, that is in the coalition with the BJP here, its member MP Prajwal from the Hassan district has been accused of the sexual relationship that was the coerced. And yes, there has been so many video file that has been discovered where it was the Mr. MP Prajwal that was behind that. And he is the grandson of the former Prime Minister H.D. Devgowda. So there has been the turmoil into the political arena, into the Congress, into the Karnataka that is going on. Okay, so this is all about. Next news that we are going to cover is the India protest Chinese road construction into the POK, Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Here it is talking about the Saksgam. So Saksgam is a place. Let's show you the Saksgam. So here you will see that this is the Saksgam. This area is the Saksgam. Saksgam, it was part of the POK, but into the 1963, just after the Chinese war, Pakistan was so much happy that it gave this part to the China into the gift. So please remember this Saksgam territory. This is known as the Saksgam territory, and here the Chinese are making the road, and India has protested against that. Okay. Then we will see that the law and order, a state subject, says the Supreme Court. Here the tussle is going between the state government and the central government with respect to the law and order situation. For example, recently we have seen that in Tamil Nadu, one of the ED officer is being investigated by the Tamil Nadu agency, security agency, and the person into the central ED that has been accused that he was taking the bribe. So here the question is that if there is the employee of the central government into the any of the states, so who will investigate? It is the state police or the central agency. So here the Supreme Court said that it is the law and order situation, and the law and order situation is into the state hand. So state will investigate. For example, here the judge has given the example of if there is any of the crime that is being occurred even by the army personnel into the army camp, so officer gives those personality to the local police, and the local police further go ahead with the investigation. So here it is given all this thing. So the central government, the Tushar Mehta Solicitor General that represent the central government, said that the matter is not of the original jurisdiction because this case is itself invalid, because the case was under the 131, Article 131. Article 131 talks about the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, and it is related to if the dispute is between the central government and the state government. So here there is need for the central government and the state government to be participatory. Okay. The second condition is that the state government and many of the central government and many of the state government on one hand, central government plus state plus many of the other states. So this could be and state between states. So state between two or more states. So here these are the situation under that the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court extend. Here the Tushar Mehta said that it is not between the central government or the state government, and the CBI doesn't come under the state definition of the state. So this would be invalid because 131 talks about the state and the central government. So here the CBI is just a part of the central government that should not be considered as a state. Okay, so this is the dispute that is going on. Supreme Court doesn't accepted that. Okay, here the protest is already going into the US, and it is the University of California and Los Angeles where the students are protesting against the death and demanding for the ceasefire into the Gaza, and that's why the police is arresting. That's going on continuously. Okay, so we will not go into the detail about this. Next news that we are going to cover is the removing exotic plant will ensure food for the wild animal. Find the study. Here you will see that already there is the animal and human conflict is going on, and we have seen the many cases from the Kerala. Here a study find that when we replace the exotic species. For example, here it is find that the eucalyptus and the lantana, these are the invasive species, exotic species. It means that they are not part of that area. For example, eucalyptus are not part of the Western Ghats. They have been brought by the external entities. For example, mango is not found into the USA, particularly into those areas. Canada, take the example. But if you go and plant there, by that the mango trees increases into the Canada. So mango tree into the Canada will be called as the invasive or the exotic species that was not part of the natural vegetation of that area. Same is the case with the Western Ghat, the eucalyptus and the lantana. They are not part of this area, but they have come from the outside and they have grown. But these elephants do not eat this. They want the grass. Grasses is the main food chain. Okay. For example, we eat like the rice, dal and chapatis, vegetables, sabjis, dal, chawal, roti, chapati, sabji. This is our food. Think that if my house is full of the Western food such as the maybe burger, pizza that I don't like, and in my neighbor's house there's this lot of, they have prepared the dal, chawal and chapati and the sabji. That is so tasty. The smell is coming to me. So what will happen? I will enter into his home. Maybe after a limit I will go. So this is happening with the elephant. In their forest, these eucalyptus, lantana, they have filled up. What they are doing? They are coming out of the forest and attacking the settlement area of the human. This is the main issue, and if you will change this exotic species, we can reduce the human and animal conflict. That is the main outcome of this study. Okay, this is coming from the Chinkanal area of the Munnar. This is the forest area into the Munnar, into the Kerala. Okay. Next news, that is again, it is not that much important. This is the value of our vote here. One of the candidate, Nirmala Washawa, she is from the tribal community and she is going to fight the election. So such type of the candidate is needed where they are coming directly to the cause of the common people. So her issue is to the developmental and progressive issue where she talk about the right of the tribal people such as the farming and the growing mahua, bhangar and Jowar, Bajra, maize pulse, all these things. He is talking about the main focus area should be there, and our demand is not being raised by our representative. That's why she is going to contest the election. This is all about from this news. Next news is the POXO Act. Objective cannot be ignored, says Supreme Court. Here the POXO Act, it is the Protection of the Children from the Sexual Offence Act. This is the act that is to prevent any of the exploitation of the children. So whenever the question comes on the vulnerability of the children, so this act is very handy. You should use this act and it will be impactful. Next news is about the liquid nitrogen in food draws. Tamil Nadu is it again. So here you will see that the excessive use of the nitrogen, generally it is used for the increase the shelf life of the food product, and such as the product like the potato crisp, peanuts, peanut butter, milk product, cheese, dried potato and other such article. However, now we have seen that recently many of the restaurants, they are using this liquid nitrogen into their food directly, and in that cases to enhance the taste, and this result into the again the cancer, and this is not good, and that's why this is being investigated. So whenever the liquid nitrogen come, why it is used? It is used into the coffee, potato crisps and all these things, food product, to increase the shelf life. Also it is used for the enhance the taste. So please remember all these things. In the prelim they can ask the question about the use of the liquid nitrogen. Next important news that you are going to take it from the editorial, and it is talking about the judiciary shadow over the standard essential patent. So what is this? Is standard essential patent. So please understand what this is talking about. The judicial shadow over standard essential patent. So The first question comes that what is this standard essential patent? So you must have seen that there is the standardization of the different product. For example, your mobile generally have the C pin or the 2 or 3 type of the pins that is the chargeable. Initially it was something else, but the most of the mobile phone, irrespective of the companies, there is the similarity into these E pins for the charging. It is done so that the standardization can be maintained so that the interoperability means different type of the companies, they can have the interoperability, and it is good for the people. Generally, if there is the 3 type of the mobile, and if you need 3 type of the charge, this power, charging power, so the charger, different type of the charger create the difficulty. For example, there is a type of the save for the tractors. There is a type of the this wheel of the bike or the motorcycle. You have seen there is the similarity. For example, if there is the bicycle, so there is the similarity in their wheel, the radius of the wheel, the diameter of the wheel. Okay. So there is some type of the standard that is common for everyone, and that is known as the standard essential patent. So it is common for everyone. Here you will see that there has been the misuse of this standard essential patent by those who are the dominating in the sector. For example, here it is given the telecom manufacturer sector. So telecom manufacturer sector, for example, the mobiles, all the mobile have the GSM, 3G, 4G, that is a common standard. When the technology changes, all have to bring the, it is not that the one is some other technology and the other mobile companies operating in the some other technology. Generally, they try to bring the similarity so that the interoperability is held, and this is known as the standard essential patent. Okay. I hope that I am clear about that standard essential patent. Who tried to decide on the standard essential patent? This is decided by the standard setting organization, SSOs, and they are the mostly the private technology companies. Okay, so here those technology who dominate this standard essential patent, who will be those who are doing the new innovation, research and invention and that's why they dominate the standard essential patent. So for example, C pin, the company that has made the C pin technology, so that company will dominate all this other mobile company. And generally the main aim of this standard setting organization is to bring the fair practices into this standard essential patent, so that the dominant company who has the invention for this standard essential patent, that do not misusing to reduce the competition. For example, if I have invented C pin, so generally all other company have to buy the C pin technology from me. And that's why many times if I feel that technology is giving more competition, can dominate, can lead more than me, then what will I do? I will increase the loyalty, the patent loyalty that can be increased, and by that they can reduce the competition. And mainly this is known as the unfair practice. This is not fair, and here fair, reasonable and non-discriminatory rate is important for these type of for example, the royalties and the licensing terms should be the fair, reasonable and non-discriminatory. Otherwise there could be the misuse by those company who dominates the standard essential patent. So please be very careful about this thing. Okay. Recently we have seen that such misuse by the many of the company. One of the example is given the Qualcomm, and that has misused such thing, and there has been the fine from the different countries. Here it is given China impose the fine of the $873 million, South Korea, and also there has been the imposition of fine from the Taiwan and other countries. This is given that how there could be the misuse and what is done by the different countries. Okay. Even the European Union has put the $272 million penalty. Okay. So here you should be very careful about What is the solution in the India? India generally it is solved by the judiciary. And here the judiciary has suffering from the both the delay as well as the activism. Delayed means many of the cases that has been delayed for the many years. For example, here it is given that the one of the case where it was the erection company that filed the case against the Indian company Micromax. Okay, so the this act under this case, the judgment came after the 7 years. Okay, so this is the thing. 7 years the company have to face. They do not can further innovate, or they are not able to use the technology in a proper way. Further, you will see that there has been the imposition of the deposit money as long as the case is going on. So here the deposit money means those company who are facing the charges, and mostly they are the Indian company. For example, it is the Micromax, and the company that filed the case was the Ericsson. Ericsson filed the case against the Micromax, and again the Ericsson filed case against the Lava International. Both are the Indian company. They were facing the lawsuit that they have misused the patent law. They have infringed the patent law, and that's why they have to pay the penalty. And until and unless the case is going on, these Indian company have to pay deposit money, and this create the burden and liability on the Indian companies, and this eat away the capital, the working capital, that is very important. For example, if I have the 10 crore I have to deposit as the safety money unless this case is going on. My 10 crore, that is my capital, I have the liability I cannot use. Maybe I could have taken this 10 crores from the market with the interest. I have to pay the interest as well. Means without getting any profit, I am paying the interest rate as well as my money, my working capital is locked with the judiciary. So here you will see that both the judiciary, one is thing that they are not giving the judgment on a priority basis, on a expediency basis, means pacing the speed of the judicial, all the judicial cases. Okay, so here you will see that, and how this is done. The court has the power to do this imposition of this deposit money under Article 142, that's talk about the Supreme Court and High Court, they can pass the order to do the complete justice. And here inherent power to do justice, that is the, but here the inherent power to do justice is not against the powerful, but it is against the weak. And in that case, it's become very difficult for Indian companies to grow. If you will impose because in India the working capital is the main thing. The people don't have the money to start the factory or the company. They have so much idea, they want to start the factories and the companies, but the thing is that they don't have the money to initiate the thing, and that's why they do not able to do. And someone, if you will start asking the deposit money of that much high in amount, that create the liability, and that's why the Indian company do not able to grow. Here, the writer want to say to the government should intervene on the same ground. We have seen that there has been some of the law that has been passed from the European Parliament. Okay, so European Parliament has already enacted such law that ensure that the regulation of standard essential patents. So here, the Indian government can intervene in a positive manner, and only then the manufacturers in India can grow into the particularly telecom sector. Here it is given that this company that ask for the loyalty, this SEP's company, they are generally do not create the job in India. These Lava and the Micromax Indian company, they create the job, and these companies like the Ericsson, they just get benefit out of their patent. They create nothing like the job. And that's why it is more important to protect these Indian manufacturer company, and that's why the government can intervene, because government want to bring the more manufacturing, more job. Already we have seen that the there has been some of the scheme that the production linked incentive scheme that is mainly aiming the enhance the manufacturing activities in India and increase the job creation. So here, without making the policy that is favorable to the Indian manufacturer, the success of such scheme like the production link incentive scheme, that is not going to get success. So this is all about from this news article. Next important news that we are going to take is the recognize this leave as a woman's right. So here this article is talking about the right to get some leave whenever the menstruation that is natural for the women. So menstruation leave that has been one of the area of the debate that the leave should be provided for the time when the women going through the menstruation. So this is the thing that is going on, and in it has been the debated into the parliament. There has been the more than four private member bill that has been brought to bring the menstrual leave for the women. So here you will see that what is the private member bill? Here it is given the private member bill. Any bill that is brought up into the parliament excluding the council of ministers. So even if those party into the power, for example, I take it very clearly, there is always confusion that if this is the party, BJP is the BJP, imagine that, just assume that it has 300 member of parliament, Sansad. Okay, so out of that, think that 55 are the minister, that is known as council of minister, that include all type of minister, council of minister. So even except these 55, remaining 245, if they introduce any bill, they are known as the private member bill. And other members, that could be from the Congress, that could be from the BSP, AAP, SP, DMK, JDU, BJD, any of the party, any of the member, except council of minister, they are known as the private member bill. And whatever that is introduced by the council of minister, this type of the bill is known as the government bill. So private member bill and the government bill, you should be very careful. It is not that the BJP member is introducing any bill that will be known as the government bill. Even the government is formed by the party that is the BJP, except those who are into the ministry. Anyone who are introducing the bill into the parliament or even at the state legislature, that will be known as the private member bill. So please be careful. So here we are talking about the every woman shall entitled to right to self-perception of her menstruation, and this include different phases. For example, menarche. What is the menarche? This is the very initial stage when the menstruation starts, nearly between the age of 10 to 15. At the initial stage, it is known as the menarche. After that, it is the menstruation cycle, that is from the 15 to 45, and after that, in the end, it is known as the menopause, when the menstruation period ends. It is generally between the 45 to the 55 of the age. This is the age limit of the different stages of the menstruation. Okay, so menstruation pain is mainly it is before the menstruation, and during the menstruation there is the cramping and other thing. This is known as the primary and secondary dysmenorrhea. Okay, so please remember all this thing, all concept. Okay. Here it is given the different type of for example, Ninombi Iring, one of the Congress MP, has introduced the menstruation leave bill into the 2017. Recently we have seen that even the Sasi Tharoor has introduced the bill, and even recently, most recently in 2022, it has been introduced as the name of the right to women to menstrual leave and free access to the menstrual health product bill. Okay. Even the Supreme Court, there has been the case that has been filed. The name of the case is the Salend Mani Tripathi versus Union of India case. But Supreme Court rejected to entertain this. Supreme Court said that it is the matter of the policy, and the policy matter comes under the executive, that is the Council of Ministers. So they will make the policy because it will create the burden on the government, because not government, even the private player, the companies. So there has been also the negative impact of this menstruation leave. For example, if you will give the menstruation leave, this is the one point. It is always progressive to provide the menstruation leave or the maternity leave, but the reality is that many a time those employer and the company, they think about the profit. Private players generally think about the profit. They don't have to do with the justice or the social justice or the thinking about the ethics and other thing. So here, many a times, if you will provide the maternity leave or the menstrual leave, in that case, the employer think that if I will hire a woman, I have to give extra 3 days of the leave into month. If I will hire the men, I don't have to give this leave. I can take the work and I will have the benefit. So in that case, when there is the patriarchal society, such type the scheme generally goes against the right of the women and the interest of the women. Generally, the less hiring, less employment for the women as compared to the men. As already we have seen such thing into the Maternity Benefit Act. Due to the Maternity Benefit Act, many a times we see that the companies do not like to hire young women or the recently married women. So you should be careful about the both aspect, pros and cons. It is progressive. We should always take our stand that yes, there should be the menstruation leave or the maternity leave. But whenever you are going to write your answer should be pros and cons to balance your answer. So already we have seen that the many of the countries such as the Japan and Indonesia, South Korea, all they have introduced the menstrual leave. But the thing is that we have seen that the many a times that has gone into the negative. For example, in the Japan, it is very difficult to the women to declare that yes, she is going through the menstrual period, and that's why many times they do not avail this menstrual leave despite there is the provision, because many times there is the chances of the sexual harassment as well, awkward situation, all this thing is there, and that's why that has not been used. In the Indian scenario, there has been the history that the Kerala has been the first state, even before the independence, when it is known as the Cochin state. It provided the period leave and it was implemented in 1912. Okay. Even the Bihar government in 1992 allowed the government to employ 2-day menstrual leave. So already we have such example, and yes, such can be replicated by the other state government as well. The thing is that here the government should compensate, otherwise the private company, they will not hire the women due to these drawbacks. Because of their mindset, they do not take care of the social justice. They take care of the benefit and the profit. Whatever the number of the whatever the quantity amount of the benefit they are going through, they will just see about the 3 days of the working day loss they have to compensate. So here the government should be proactive. Government should not declare just this menstrual leave, but there should be the contribution from the government. Government should give the half of the 3 days for the private player. Already we have seen that international organizations such as the International Labour Organization or the WHO, they all advocate for the menstrual leave, and we have seen that the WHO that brought the World Menstrual Hygiene Day, 28th of May. Even recently we saw that in the India case, the parliament passed the labor code, and one of the labor code, social security, this doesn't talk about the menstrual leave, that has skipped the menstrual leave. So government of the India should brought all this type of the progressive policy under the labor law as well, and we should learn from the progressive step taken by the companies such as the Swiggy and Zomato. Okay. So these type of the policy not only bring the gender equality, but they also try to bring the so many other associated benefit to the society. So it's try to create the new social change into the society, and that is very important. So you should know all about the history is given here, and what has been the effort by the parliament. Different private member bill already have been introduced. The judicial, in the Supreme Court already we have the Salend Mani Tripathi case. So all this thing is very important. You should know about this thing. Okay. The next important news that we are going to bring is the tipping point. With the robust GST revenue, the next government must prioritize the reform. So here it is into the context of recently record collection of the GST revenue. So here you will see that government has crossed the 2 lakh crore of the monthly collection under the GST, and we have seen that even if it is going to be reduced, so still the next year it is hoped that it will be around 1,80,000 crore rupees. Okay, so this is much better, and this is the give a positive picture. Already our finance minister, she has said that it is due to the it shows the robustness into the Indian economy, and that's why here further it is talking, the editorial that is talking that what should be the focus area. The focus area now should be, already our collection is high, already we have reached to the level where that has been the targeted. Now the main thing should be the reform into the GST. There is a lot of gradation. For example, 0%, 5%, 12%, 18%, and the 28%. Gradation has been for this GST taxation. So there should be a simple, and there should be a one rate should be there, or maximum two rates should be there. Beside that, we also seen that there has been the cesses that has been imposed. So cess and surcharge is always burden on the people, and it doesn't go to the state government. So generally it is not for the federal structure, good for the federal structure. So what government should focus, it should be focused on the rationalization of the GST rate, as well as the reduction of the surcharge and the cess. So you should know what is the cess and the surcharge. These both are the tax on the taxes. Cess is more specific. It's still about for what purpose we are taking the tax on the tax, but the surcharge is not mentioning very specific purpose. It can be used for anything. Okay, so this is all about. Next news article that is talking about what is the condition into the Bengal. It is with respect to the election that is going on. The two of the main party that is contesting into the West Bengal is the All India Trinamool Congress TMC, okay, and the BJP. They have into they are mainly main contestant. Okay, so we have seen that the BJP has already increased vote share as well as the percentage of the seat, and in that case there has been the creation of the polarity. For example, the main issue that has been raised by the BJP is the Ram Temple, the cross-border migration, and all. What about the TMC? TMC is raising the issue of the Citizenship Amendment Act. Okay, and the funding by the central government to the state government, that is not given when demanded by the state government. Okay, so here we have seen that the BJP has raised the issue of the women's safety. In the Sandesh Khali, we have seen that the case and that event has brought the women's safety at the core focus point. So here we have seen that the BJP has filled a women candidate from the Sandesh Khali. So you will see that particularly in that area of the polarization, where one is talking about the Hindutva politics, and other is talking about the safety and the security of the minority. So the domination, the focus area for the TMC is where the Muslim concentration is high, for the example, into the southern part, and the main target point of the BJP is the northern part. So here you will see that the BJP that is hoping from the northern part. And beside that, in this two polarity, what is the main casualty? The main casualty is the central, those who had the central ideology, for example, left and the Congress coalition, they are mainly become the casualty. So this is all about from this news. This is not that much relevant for our syllabus. So here just know about just factual, just the things with the curiosity. There is no facts and no concept in that. Okay. Next news that we are going to cover is the does PM Jan Arogya Yojana need a design change. So it is talking about the Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. So what is this Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana? It's talk about the health coverage. This is a insurance policy. And in the case of the, whenever you get some illness or ailment, so government will provide the insurance up to 5 lakh per family. So per family, this is not for the whole family. This is for the per family. It is not for the each member of the family. One family will get the 5 lakh. Okay. And it is for the per year and for the secondary and tertiary care, not the primary. When you get the hospitalized, when there is the some of the higher level of the for surgery or anything that is not simple, you are getting the complicated disease, and it will be done by the impaneled hospital. So what is mean by the impaneled hospital? Those hospital that has been registered under this scheme. It is not for the every scheme. So whenever you go for the PMJY, so you go and ask that yes, this hospital is impaneled or not. Only then your PMJY will be work, and only then the government will return your money. So here you will see that it is for the bottom 40% of the population, 12 crore families. Okay, 12 crore families, not the member. If you will go for the overall population, so it will be near about, if you will consider 5 members in one family, so it will be near about 50 to 60 crore of the people. Okay, so here you will see that near about 6.5 crore people have been got the treatment, and the 30,000 impaneled hospital has been there. So this is the achievement. This is the main principle. This is the main core of this scheme. This is, you should know, character of the scheme, that who will get the who will get the benefit under this. The poor family that has the 40%, bottom 40%, and 5 lakh per family and per year. So you should be careful about this. And secondary and tertiary care, not for the primary care. Primary, generally you get the normal fever or the normal thing, you will not get. But however, we have already other provision. Already the schemes are there for the primary health care. But yes, this scheme is for the secondary and tertiary hospitalization. You need to be in patent, not the out patent. Okay, in patent means you hospitalized. So all this thing you should know about the core of this scheme. Okay, so here the question is that does PMJ design need to be changed to make the scheme more sustainable? Here the thing is that we have seen that there is the government is providing the insurance, but the thing is that already the lack of the hospital that is causing the concern. For example, if there is no shop in your area, there is no shop of the cake, the Italian cake, for you give the insurance that you will get the one Italian cake from the each family, and there is no shop for that cake. So what is the mean of this insurance when there is the no cake? Already, if I will say that everyone into the one of the district, for example, it could be the Kushinagar, so everyone will get the Mercedes. But there is, if they say that everyone will get the Mercedes into the Kushinagar, if from the shop of the Mercedes, but there is no such agency of the Mercedes. So it means that they have promised, but you are not going to get the thing, because the main thing that is going to provide is absent. So this is the main criticism. Besides that, we have seen that there has been the dominance of the private sector, and the private sector has been overburdened, because the many times people do not believe into the public sector and the quality of the public sector hospital. So generally people go for the private sector, and private sector at the overburden, and that's why we have seen that recently there has been the less activities and action by the impaneled private players. So we have seen that despite the private player, they have impaneled and they are not getting the refund from the government. Government gives the money to the private player if they will not going to take the money. If they are going to insure the person and the private player is not getting the money from the government, they reduce to take care of those patients who are coming under this PM Jan Arogya Yojana. So this is the main cause of concern. Other thing is that there has been also the concern with respect to the quality and overburdening of the private player. Besides that, there is also acquisition of the private player. They take the extra charges, and that is the other cause of concern, and overburdening of the public health sector as well. So here the writer want to say that instead of fragmenting the different layer of this health sector, there's need for the integrated scheme, and integrated scheme, because already there are the scheme for the primary sector and other thing. Okay, so here the thing is that there is the lack into the design, there is the cause of concern for the effectiveness, and many times we have seen that those very few states, they are able to provide the hospitalization and the effective treatment under this scheme. For example, the Andhra Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Rajasthan, Karnataka, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu. However, we have seen that the many of the northern and northeastern state where the hospital is lacking, there is the lack of the effectiveness of this scheme. So here it is talking about the private sector need to be active. For example, the private sector is not going to open the hospital into the Bastar and other such region where the benefit, they do not find the benefit. So here we need to public sector to go in these places. Only then the proper health care facility can be provided. Okay. We have seen that the out-of-pocket cost is the 40 to 50%, and India is among, for India's ranking, it is near about 67th out of 189 in terms of out-of-pocket expenditure. So please remember this. 67th position out of 189 into the case of the out-of-pocket expenditure, and 50% of the earning goes into this medical care. So this you can imagine, out of 100 rupees you are earning 47 to 50 rupees you are spending on your health. So what will you save? What will you spend on the other area, education, your quality life? So that's why this is going to compromise the overall the living standard of the people. Besides that, we have seen that it cause also a type of the poverty cycle whenever the people get impacted, and that's why the government has provided this, and this is considered as the shock therapy. It is not providing as the universal health care, but whenever the people get the shock due to this secondary and tertiary hospitalization, this Prime Minister Jan Arogya Yojana can be beneficial. However, both of the writers, both of the experts, they are of the view there is need to do a lot of work from the government side, and not only the central government but the state government, particularly in the area of the infrastructure. The hospital infrastructure should be strengthened, and the integrated approach should be adopted for the scheme in the health sector. So this is all about from this news article. Next important news that we are going to take again from the text and the context, and this is talking about why are Indian spices facing the heat. So here we have seen that many of the top and the famous spices such as the MDH and the Everest, you must be knowing, you must be using on a daily basis. They are into the heat because there has been the toxic chemical that has been found in the product, and the name of the toxic product is the ethylene oxide. So please remember this ethylene oxide, and this is mainly found into the MDH and Everest. You must have been using on a daily basis, so please remember that. The countries that has started the investigation, mostly it is started into the countries such as the Hong Kong, and Hong Kong started. Further, it has been done by the other countries such as the Maldives, New Zealand and the Bangladesh and Australia. Even the US has started all this thing. But the company has said that no, there is no such thing. We do not use the toxic material such as the ethylene at any stage, be it storing, processing and packing all the spices. The claim from the company is stating that this is the baseless and unsubstantiated. So What is the main thing? Mainly it has been found into the curry powder masala and the fish curry masala. So here they are making the tasty this by the use of this chemical. So whatever the taste is not always good. 5 countries has banned this: Singapore, Hong Kong, and US. Okay. So here you will see that this type of the thing is mainly causing so many diseases such as the cancer. So why where they are used they are used mostly into the pesticide, but into the our this type of the spices they are used for the increase the shelf life. So here you will see that what is the characteristic? It is the colorless flammable gas. Okay, and mainly it is for the sterilizing medical devices. Sterilizing medical devices, so that if any of the germ or the organism is there, they can be killed. Okay, so they are the chemical into the industry setting, and they are used into the agriculture, sterilizing agent, and food products. For the food products, they are used for the increase the shelf life. Okay, it reduce the microbial contamination. But when the quantity increases, it result into the carcinogenic compound. Carcinogenic compound, they are those compounds that cause the cancer. So the chances of the cancer increases, and already in the history we have seen that there has been an allegation against the cough syrup, Indian made cough syrup as well, and here the ethylene glycol was used, that was prohibited. And there has been the many deaths. For example, 300 children they died into the Cameroon, Gambia, Indonesia, and Uzbekistan, and the syrup was banned. Why this is happening? Despite we have the Food Safety and Security Standard Authority, we have other such regulatories at the state level. Despite all this thing, why we are not able to test in India? Why we give them permission for export or to also to enter into the market? Why? Because we lack many things. For example, we lack the lab for the testing, and the labs are not equally, and it is distributed across the India. They are regionally concentrated, and that's why the testing is not done. For example, here it is given that the labs are distributed unevenly across the region, and their number is insufficient. And even the FASI annual report 2021 and 2022 that has recognized the same. If this bans is going to persist, there is a lot of loss for the export. For example, we can lose $700 million, and if the EU that is also considering to investigate on this contamination, if they are going to ban, our loss will be near about 2.7 billion, and it is near about the 51%. If EU also include, this will reach to the 2.5 billion, and global export loss will be 58.8%. So that level of the loss we are going to do. Why? Because we don't able to implement the regulatory authority. The regulatory authority and the lack of the infrastructure, you should remember, because we are not the lab for the testing. And besides that, we have seen that this Spice Board or the FASI, they are not able to implement, and even at the state level, this authority is not able to investigate and test by the proper standardization. So this is all about from this news. In the prelims, they can ask the questions such as the ethylene glycol or the ethylene oxide. So please remember all this thing. Ethylene oxide, ETO, and ethylene glycol. Also, there has been the chances of the salmonella. So salmonella, they are also causing the salmonellosis, and it is mainly bacterial foodborne illness. So please remember all these things. You can use into the prelims. Next important news that we are going to take is the April PMI signal second best gain into the manufacturing sector in the 42 months. So here you will see that the purchasing manager index, what is this? This gives the indication of the economy into a market. So for example, here it is done with respect to the interview of the purchasing managers. So it says the health of the economy. purchasing managers, and it say the health of the country's manufacture sector. So manufacture sector show the overall economic growth. Here you will see that what are the indices that we include under that. New order, how many orders has been given by the different shopkeeper, and yes, how many orders has been received by these purchasing managers. Besides that, production level has increased or decreased, that is considered. Whether the employment is increasing or decreasing. For example, if there is the more demand, more production, employment will increase, and the vice versa. Again, you will see that the supplier delivery will decrease when the economy is not good. If there is the less demand, supplier delivery will decrease. Inventories. Inventories means how much stock we had at the particular time and how much it has reduced or the maintained. For example, I have the 10 pen, and even after the 2 months, still I have the 8 pens. So inventory will be the 8 pens. The demand for the more product will be less if the inventory is more. So inventory reduces mean the manufacturing increases. So all this thing is taken into the consideration. You will see that how it shows that if this PMI is above 50, so it shows that expansion of the manufacturing sector. If it is below 50, it means contraction. The economy is going into the negative direction. And if it is the 50, there is no change, means the economy is at the stable condition. If this is the stagnated, that is not stable, stagnated you can say. Okay, so here you will see that in the India's case, highest we reach into to the 59%, 59.19. Now it has been reduced to the 58.8. So still it is high, but it is lesser than the previous month. So we have seen the continuously purchasing manager index that has been the high. Next important news that is here on the business news, the more money is going to African climate startup, but it is not enough. So here you will see that what was the condition into the previous year. There was not that much people ready to not invest into the startup into the Africa for the climate purpose, climate technology. Now there has been the increase into the investment. However, we have seen that they have able to garner $3.4 billion for this startup sector and startup technology. However, we have seen that this is very high. Despite it is 1/3 of all the funds raised by the startup into the climate sector, climate startup technology, but still they need near about 277 billion of the dollar. So the need and the collection, there is the huge difference. What is the needed 277? Collection is 3.4. Why there is the huge difference? Because there is the less belief into the economy of the Africa. For example, there has been the fluctuation and instability into the currency, and this reduces the investor appetite to invest into the Africa. So you should remember what are the regions. These are the basic things you should know. Next important news, again it is from the Gaza, and here you will see that to rebuild the Gaza again we need 40 billion of the dollar. So this is the fact you can use whenever you are going to write negative impact of the war. Here the last news, that is the Delhi born candidate Gulati into the fray into the London mayor poll. So he is he's associated with the India born. So he's a banker and a strategic advisor, and he's now into the contestation for the London mayor. Already Sadiq Khan was the mayor, and he is the Pakistan born. So Indian born, Pakistan born, they become important. Now we will solve 5 questions from the topic that we have covered one by one, and it will be from the topic that we have covered from the newspaper. The first question, ethyl oxide is the primarily used in which of the following sectors? Construction and infrastructure, healthcare and medical devices, textile manufacturing, D, information technology and software development. So here we saw that already DMH and Everest, these are the product from the India, they have been investigated into the many of the countries because of the contamination of the ethyl oxide, and it is mainly used into the healthcare and the medical devices, but it has been used into the food product for the increasing the shelf life. So that's why it is into the news. B will be the correct answer. Next question. Which of the following situation best exemplifies the patent holder problem? A company refused to license its patented technology to competitor under any circumstance. B. A company demands exorbitant royalties from other companies seeking to use its standard essential patent. Okay. C. A company sues another company for patent infringement even when the infringement claim is weak. D. A company develops a new product that significantly improves upon a previous patented invention. Here you will see that standard essential patents that is used to extract high amount of the royalties whenever the companies think that the other company is going to compete and lead us, and that's why it will be the correct answer. It is the exorbitant royalties just to cut down the competition. So B will be the correct answer. Which of the following is not eligible for the patent protection in India under the Patent Act? A new pharmaceutical compound, a genetically modified seed variety, a software algorithm, a mathematical discovery. So here you will see that the mathematical discovery comes under the fundamental formulas, and they are not comes under the Patent Act. So they are not patented, and that's why D will be the correct answer. Question number 4. The duration of patent in India is generally 10 years, 15 years, 20 years indefinitely. So you will see that it is the 20 years that is generally the life for the patent that is given. Okay, so 20 years will be the correct answer. Last question. Which of the following statement is true about the purchasing manager index? It is leading economic indicator. It provides retrospective insight into the economic activities. C. It is primarily used for the tracking inflation. D. It has no correlation with the broader economic health. So here you will find that it is a leading economic indicator. So A is the correct answer. So this is all from the today's newspaper. We have covered most of the topics that are relevant for the UPSC and state PCS, and also we have solved the question that are most probable question for the state PCS and the UPSC prelims examination. So here we will conclude our session. Thank you for joining the session. All the best. Jai Hind.